Lalak se na six nis sumjik juin na jaktung juin yongsteno barabure mangko mija sunde ang yodro yang ye mangko miju lalak se na nyung ari juste tenenge lalak ne piloga yagar nang sigal gun nang ikene julon rikuli nata ai chokskore pia tebia yeje jeche ku gompa matu teneta Diring ika nijas ko chespo siam hala shesiga mano katin jiga mano tuje chezer chesiga mano yang na yung chespo ang siam katin jiga mano tuje chezer chesiga mano rasak mogol la dugat na tewa ang siam hala shesiga mano katin chezer chesiga mano ospa jigino gan jigino जिम्मेदारी जिगिनो कामातम संने रामे युएपिया रामे ई विलुम्स गुनेपिया मायोंस पे ठाठू गुनेपिया जर्चेस को फेक्तान मिदन खामेदे लासिगिनो जतना हाला शेसिक मानो माजतना हाला शेसिगिनो इयो माजतना तेने हाला शेसिगिनो इचोखला माजोना तेने हाला शेसिगिनो Zomna hala sesik mano kazuga natama me khampawa me barna tene me sadala binches po hala sesik meno chu kute sujik chatna sa kute sujik chatna kuchia somteine zete halasna tene ma sode me tsferaina yate sang thua koina chi thopche sigyo de काने में चिक्ता योड्डो पाज़ेरतना ते यूल ते टोंपा ते नामी गुन सोदे में दिनो काउने रंगे खंपा श्क्यो वाला तेज़म थे चोंस नाम तेज़म हाला शेष चोस्ते सोंपा दिंगता है लदक्स यूल वो नती खंपा हुआ नती रिलुम सम्माचाने खंचेन हुआ मेबरा चोक्शिगिनो इतुस पेका नतम जोंचेस प्रोस पाइनो माजोम ना Ichokla ulma machona zashat mogol machos peka nanma tene 6 kyompo 6 subri chamari tanginna jalta chanteri skurmori molinna devo social media ka indo ya yang kamoshi ga inna te tevo ma nyespaino tewa ngata naza doshe zino ibo su gune ka mi gune ichok ladak se ichok mebar kando sat jane ichok skirmo chante gunzerte mi gunla hechom ske chukdu gomkhor cha chukdu tevo theptam hala se zino tevo ladak ame samme sam sode me dino lanchak sino ichok stuguri ame onna ka gune ladak amavo tintinga dim chugala yalameka lep chugala Sondus choste janna unenanga spera minda spelatna tevo dembe hala shese samma sode metino samara dinsko wala yonchesko shunsko betia yonchesko me sadala yonchesko theptan gevelas nam ospelassino tevo sante natang samma din zongos yang diring cikpo man bala ichok school ma unenanga rangai ama yulama oskopche se pia ichok chatmet la tarun sam jo osin cham izek jos par dik zerche jongche mano shok chacha sakpa jo osna nyun mane mans le chaches mano tampo ta ngi yo jui ibena cham chi thoba de nang chi phanches jo de sambos meteno ngejam meteno ngam meteno ospaino madat na hala shino ta nyei wojui na chia khakchang sor zerkango chia ngaram mangarik nyeja zerala tomato chia yang te zamang po mezane ang na chik zerin nam chik chogo sa train tomato tampo hota na chik madiga yotna miospa jik chatna tene zote taste duk mayan kanjigina nispavo tene na gerganjig in pasangna tene mi ulla hago chukchespo na sal jigyo dhala I sal gun diring makhana nam khan homa thanrik nang angsis nang inji nang yang skat gun ha goches chikko gerganji ge las meno yuleka tu zurpoji lepna tere teve chi wangchaino chi thoptamino chi lamino tegunam ha goches ko nye khagino gerganji ge chulla zerte na nye janam jalinduga nin sambe jalinduga kompatemo nye ja ha goches no chianga zerin nam nye je ziksado mispao tai chokse school maun zaschat mobile chokse school maun gerganji ge lase sang mangari gindoba tevo chia tevo irpia kazuksi ga inna dirin yagare nama ya yagarne philoga ene mi mangpoji ge na mata iru ladak la nye chokane las gune na ama doadu use chong indo sarjoks ka indo television indo te chamma chik zerin zer na khorang bang tak sayongdu na juzer was chamiru khorang ama dotbadu teneta te scouts ko na mingchan chala khole sam yulwa phanchi sigyot jane tene kol nam ospadu gale temane Nene zikti oto dang runjak khachi goma na sarchok nam channel banchige ka bingte zikti oto Tevo ladak la daksa ichok se nazluk shigina ozdom duk tai kyut po I phantos po koro osok samte na sompi temane nga mingchan rang changin yot pinna nam chanam cham bot nam mane juzerin nam yomok pa nga mane shat mashada la sanste borte ine chat aru chat mazera la shuk shuk chat le ichok la chon la kaptaf na osa met zete tepia gile ziksin na kamori ga chat nam mane Facebook nam Twitter nam kamo mashada ipste chat ichok gunga ozdom mira inna थोरेसी ओजदम सोंपे जगह फॉर्म फान थोक्शेन सामते शिस्ते बोलते यमते पिया तेने बुक्काने गुंजा खाची गेना सरचो कुनेना लदाख से नजदुक्स को इजुक सोंपते यो इवे पिया युमी मंगको इजुआ जोमिन यो सुनी मने रंगे शोक्ता आला रश्चक मोगले पिया बिंगिन यो जरकान को श्यांग स्कूलाला जिक्स्टेन ला मोन चुगाला तेने इवे स्काप्स को नेंते खांतो शिक्षाना सामते बिंगिन ताइवो Yala indo, tua indo, itok se skaps ko, narangachang hala se sonamina, manga lasyak nam gocak chik sora rakpa, o itok skuz gune ka phandu gale. Te chok skuz gune ka phan lane, tene na ipste dukna tewang mios paino, samte, na tapik manga rik nyeja zerala thongan ko. Yana, ding lasyak mogolla chia bingten juna, na lasyak la mogolla bingna, tenayang isa chokpaun I sarpel paune mangari I nastulbo nyampo lalakse nasduksko khepshe se skapshik chache zino yang sujik dukna tene tezan shik sperao malepna tene khome zuksla ogyan nang shoga jiknang chache zino mangari ko te ngarang dukstangna ogyal nang jiknang chanang charin jik choks yang jik dukste tonskia lepte mi khachiga mene machor na maphan zamte thot ma phoda langa binte onstenle yang na chang tho music rewajik met na konjo katin la junang chi thok oshe yot nang chi rewajik choat nang tesang chunda ramet la thokte miozer nang tedin nang thongdo na yang chang oshe se rewa nang dotpa met ju Dringa kaltes binti otna shok chanam chazete tere shok esam nanga jik yang chiyo enle te boshko wala minda chuano pa te o mingchan chuala minda chuano pa te nao chanam dik zerat na tere chi top kyu yong cherat te nam neta ote pia chi ot kyak nam chi top ches gun te chok se te chong gun pangste nyeja chang mang bingches po ma kapchani no na bingches po dakse jukan espera one pia kapchani no ta Nyeja chia khachani no jukango. Nyeja bingchesko tene iwo kho chikpe sperajik mano. Kho chikpe tolsajik mano. Iwo ladaf gampe tolsajik inkya ko kazuga sujia hagwenle. Chi khapspele khutyot nam ngena ha. Ngarang chikpe mingji kamoshiga bingte imi chama cham chana serka ozdoma mete inokpa kwa chiji yang oshe zina samche zino bal tebe pia nyejami mangzune khakko ma khakchani no khapspel bonge jaste chatna ozdom bonge jaune no kwa lusheshan gune sakat nam thatu nam minda minde serkayo kanune sanana serkayo no pale somba nyeja kalses metna ya nyeja kalses nyunji mane metna tene ye chi yutna skaps yutna te sama tonmetino kaune pia ozdomio te une mola metna te pia deja फरवरी से सुमा ये जब सम शिक्टांस के ना बिंके उस तेरे के ने मोंडो नताए मिंगुने रामे खाको कजुर डेमो आसे रूप से देजने ते नताए दुंजक चीगे स्कूल में स्टिंग ने जोम पासाना मिंडा स्टोन सुम चूजी जोमते नो दिरियां जम्मा यून मिदुप्ले इजम मंको मी जगमा चीगे ना बिंते योंस्टांग से स्को थेप्ता हाला से दिलो हाले यहाँ हालाशेज इनो ज़रना दिनबेस्ता स्टेकरना हालाशेज मानो काले इज़म नताना चना मायोना तेने yang suji क्यों नाम समझुआ मिलो वाले नहीं नतान मन न सुई चुए दिनिंग मचोना नाम चुए सोपा हालाशेज इमेनो ओस्पाजी के का ढूंढते नो इन्ना चोसला नाम ओज़दोम छाना ये जना yang स्काप्स नाम क्यूट नाम थाप्स नाम मंगपोजी मेट नाम kas kaps nam thaps yokkane sam sa laksain nejaram skamsuk se kompanam nyamko bot sarches ko maja samma indina maja ozdombo in ibo zerte ichoglas ko chesko ma khachani no samchela dirin choglas ko ozane dirin choglas ko da zarches tane ta zashat mogolla dukjanya तेरे नता नमने मंपे दंगलांग से स्टोरात मोलते तो सम्मा शोक्षीगा जमा सुन दुस्ते तेने सुअम मेत्कान छा तो मान पाला मी सुनचू मी आपचू सिर ला कोंटल टिक पाउन ना स्टूनते जागा जुक सकना मार दे मोचा चेजिनो जमलिंगा युंग गवर्नमेंट ला मती लोन जिक चेजिनो बा ये जा चीन युतकान बोजात ना मिटते हो सुआ खामरे नासलुक स्वीडियोतना तेने जास्चत माझा दाला शिकोते माने तो निन शिकतां सोआ मोजलां तारिन शिकतां नती जुमा संभाष केसी नती उसक्यों बोलला छानाश केसी नती निमांग सामने ना सेंसुस केसी करें ना मोजलां तारिन जुगनां बिकते सोआ कुच्चे जोतना निमाची के जास्चत जाते ना निमाची तुच्चेस्ते चंग गक्सो मासों सामते न्याम्पो जुग न्यांते Mangan gitche jokna iman isum yifna ya gunjakchik ya tesan manga juksin zena jakma chujik sapa juksna jam stoa mano bale so ba tenso gune tene lon boyu chano imi ulla demme ma khapchanin kya temane komi sokla tobriga dukche mano izam mi un zomche mano iwo mimang se demme tonsain kya thongde तेरे द्वेष नीम योजना मती सोजू में उसक्यों बोलना तेरे द्वेष नीम बोलना जक्सी मिजू खामेट चेन नदी इचोले थाप्सना जिंदे यांको चोटा सोचेस्ते तेरे पिया नेजा सम्मा थाप्चाने नो तेरे थाप्को नेजा होने सेन्यान चेजिनो बालो सोपा रांग चीन यांकन तेरे चिगे चिंबाबो लूसे चिंबा तुसे चिंबा ये जैसा ना 이거 짱양 하라셔서 스페라샤 제만도 예전에 두고 daksa이가 부초당간 공에 투슬라 공은 스킵페 옥스네닌 직당 고스탁스테 장에 율레나 숙스테 장에 율레 dakpai 출라 루셰스 스캅식 차제르 노바 데오 삼데니자 주스고스 나 소람 왕초게 피아멘 타마 라샤 모골라 독체스고 déjà Kazakhstan le mola soxla tene sisipar du jukse se jaltao bin temane mania yeta nima nishu saxige speraji yotin ka skerin kerin zerte al nima nishu saxik ko tamko ta chia in gojuna meme gandhi skundun sangme sang ringmo komingchani no raschat mogole pia 16 gampena kom sangme sang ringmo nima nishu saxik justo gal ta ne shishi pardu daksang juatu shishi pardu dukches in tales kundun mune molkan bena mas peral chi yote no Kaltes ka to Code of Conduct chikzerte nam chang choni yanche si somte nam ngajani chang choni yanche mirakte ne shina chi bhan zerche si gyotna te chok rimet la shok tang stiang chang sambela si meno vale sompa नहीं हो चुन समारा शिशी पार्दू ins kyang jakma nishur saksi ge yameka tene nildak nishur saksi pa sundak nishur saksi pa zerin chitam kazuk tu se ozdom dukstaste atam dubi janta nishur saksi pa ma nyunjik meno mishia samara ma koshian fiche no inna ngate tokse gojik mirak ju ma tete diokna itu lamoji asikan diamban Nishu saksi gestine yang tenju lamoji ga site goma lakpa thuste chache se am skap mito yang nishu saksi tugin scaring sikan shishi pardu yang site stine am lande jute on stene bujutan masale yejaun lam du chichemen ninam sal chichemen sompate semshuk ponyam ko matam sama goa bingos ilas po lame kinok sama mazaju Kaspo yotna minuk chesi gawamano kaltes mingune semshuk yotna sompa is pera kachik kongi yuche rimpin tange tabik chik yalan ne kilowe jikste ne imang gunla hago chese pia tabik inskatna hindi skadena dream lonjik mata ikene chagos samara matara ata is nadus thames korbo yala guzyoteno con guzmet kangon la zabiti yagal ne kilo ajisten la english na zabiti twin estine hindi na nati uskyon munna nati yagare yulni achono min sing sangmala twin jule jule as we greet in Ladakh today on the 6th of March I will be sitting on fast unto death, which will happen in stages of 21 days each, extended as necessary. 21 days because this happens to be the longest fast that Mahatma Gandhi kept during the independence movement of India. And I want to follow the same peaceful path that Mahatma Gandhi followed, where we inflict pain on ourselves, where we don't inflict pain on anybody else. We don't take hostage anybody else. We take ourselves hostage, inflict pain on ourselves so that our governments and policy makers notice our pain and act in time. So, I am Sonam Wangchuk, reaching out to the people of the world from the Indian Himalayas, a place called Leh in Ladakh at 3,500 meters, 11,500 feet. Why am I reaching out to you? Today, our planet is going through huge challenges, environmental challenges, global warming, climate change, and nowhere else this challenge can be seen more than in the Himalayas, than on the Tibetan plateau where we are right now. You might have heard about the challenges faced by our Tibetan brothers on this plateau in Dege County, where dams are being built blindly, and generally the environment is exploited blindly. On the Indian side of the Himalayas, in Ladakh, we are starting to face similar challenges. Our glaciers are melting very fast, causing droughts and flash floods alternatingly. Very soon, many of us will be climate refugees, and we must protect this. To protect this part of the Himalayas, the Tibetan plateau, which is often called the third pole, it is a responsibility not just of us in Ladakh, but the entire population of planet Earth. This region is the third for a very good reason. It hosts the largest reservoir of fresh water after the North and the South Pole. More than 50,000 glaciers abound here. These glaciers of the Hindu Kush Himalayas nourish roughly 2 billion people directly or indirectly, which is 1/4 of the population of the planet. So you can imagine how sensitive it is. Now, to help save these Himalayas, Ladakh and its glaciers and its people, you, the people in the big cities of the world, can contribute in a big way. Firstly, of the two demands, appeals that I always make to the people in the world, first is that you please live simpler lives in your big cities, because your lifestyle, your carbon-intensive lifestyle is causing climate change and global warming and the melting of our glaciers. And your unbridled, blind consumerism is the reason for why more and more minerals are needed, more and more mining is needed. And for that, industries are coming up into the Himalayas, knocking at our doors, in fact breaking our doors to enter and exploit these valleys and mountains. Therefore, if you consume less, if you live simpler lives, there will be less of these minerals needed, there will be less of exploitation, in fact rape of these mountains and valleys of the Himalayas. So I appeal to you all people around the world to please live simply in your big cities so that we in the mountains may simply live. That much we have a right, we believe. Now the second method, which is why we are gathered here in large numbers, is to expect safeguards to these mountains, its sensitive nature, from governments that are elected by the people. Very few governments in the world have profound policies to protect nature and the indigenous people and their culture who live in these mountains. India, by the way, happens to be one such country that I am very proud of. Right from after independence in the 1950s, it adopted articles in its constitution that safeguards such sensitive, fragile ecosystems and the cultures of the indigenous people who live here. The Article 244, 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution is one such provision which safeguards these mountains by giving the indigenous people the right to make laws about how they want to develop these regions and how much they want to develop these regions as per their wishes. And as you know, indigenous people who live here will always think of tomorrow and day after. They will not just think of today and me and not for our progeny, our children, our future. Now, this is what the people here have gathered to demand and appeal to the government of India to fulfill, not actually a demand, a promise that the government made to the people of Ladakh. Ladakh, when it became a union territory in 2019, the issue before the people was how now can we safeguard these mountains from business sharks, from mining lobbies, from industrial lobbies. Luckily, to our safeguard came the government of India and the ruling party, the Bharatiya Janata Party, who not only assured us that this region will be brought under 6th schedule of the Constitution because 97% of the population here is indigenous tribal population, and generally it takes only 50%. So we qualify and over-qualify. So with all wisdom and great thought, the government of India promised us to safeguard this region in the 6th schedule. Here, their promises appeared in their manifestos of the election in 2019, which re-elected Prime Minister Modi. The political party of Mr. Modi, Bharatiya Janata Party, kept safeguard of Ladakh under 6th schedule in the top 3 promises in the manifesto. So people of Ladakh were very, very assured that we are in safe hands. Again, in 2020, as if once was not enough, they reassured us when they kept this promise as a part of the manifesto in 2020 in the local hill council elections, which are the most prestigious elections here, and announced that Ladakh will be safeguarded under the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution. And this time they had kept this safeguard as agenda number 1 on their manifesto, constitutional safeguard of Ladakh under 6th schedule of Indian Constitution, as appealed by apex body and Home Ministry to protect the land. Now, these were the promises made, and these words made us very safe in these fragile mountains, even when Ladakh became a UT and there was danger of all gates open, Ladakh being left free for all to whoever comes and does whatever. Unfortunately, after these promises were made and elections were won, not once, twice, with huge majorities, because people of Ladakh believed in these promises and they did their part and voted for the party, making them win both of these elections. Unfortunately, in the coming months and years, the government went silent, and very soon, reminding them of their promise became a problem, sometimes even threatened with legal action or police action. So people started becoming more and more nervous because this is what the government had promised. And now, after many meetings, the government has backtracked on its promises and are talking of a much diluted version of what is already in the Constitution for exactly this situation. There is no need to invent another article. There is exactly what Ladakh needs, the tribal indigenous people of Ladakh need. So what happened and why did they change their mind? Our speculation and the statements of many leaders from the opposition say that this has happened because the industrial lobbies, the mining lobby, the business sharks have been putting pressure on Government of India to keep Ladakh open for all their exploitation of mining and all such activities, which can be very, very dangerous in such a fragile area where all the glaciers of the world, of Asia, are. And therefore, there is a need for everybody to raise their voice to just remind the government of their promise. And we feel it is our duty to make noise enough, or as they say in physics, equal and opposite pressure and noise to the one that is put by the lobbies, the business lobbies on the government, so that the pressure is neutralized and government can take a fair decision. we believe that we are actually helping the government to not be bowed down by these commercial industrial pressures, because when the local people and you all supporters of Ladakh from around the world raise your voice, then the voices and the pressures will negate and the government will be able to make a fair choice. Otherwise, we cannot blame them for falling prey to these lobbies. So dear friends around the world, please support Ladakh. Please write to the Indian government, the Prime Minister of India and the Home Minister of India to support and to keep their promise to the people of Ladakh and to the planet and its sensitive ecosystems. We appeal to you to form Ladakh support groups, friends of Ladakh, friends of nature. You could create in your own cities, whether in New Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Kolkata, Chennai, or London, Berlin, Paris, New York. All around the world, I appeal to you to support nature, support the Himalayas, support our melting glaciers, and support the indigenous people of Ladakh. Thank you very much. कहा गया चुनाव के आने के संदर्भ में इसे हम चरणों में करेंगे, 21 दिन के चरणों में, जब तक हमारे लद्दाख की ये आवाज़ सुनी नहीं जाती, जब तक सरकार लद्दाख पर ध्यान न दे। भारत माता की हम जय करते आए हैं। भारत माता की लद्दाख के सैनिक ही नहीं, लोग, साधारण जनता रक्षा करते आए हैं हर जंग में। 1948 से 65, 62, 71, 99, हर जंग में लद्दाख के लोग सैनिकों के साथ युद्ध भूमि तक जाते रहे हैं। और उससे पहले जब भारत आजाद हुआ तब लद्दाख कश्मीर का हिस्सा था। किसी ऐतिहासिक गलती के वजह से ये लद्दाख, जो कि एक स्वतंत्र राज्य था हमारे अपने राजा का, वो कश्मीर का हिस्सा बना। और फिर 1947 में लद्दाख ने गुहार लगाई कि उसे भारत माता का एक हिस्सा बनाया जाए सीधे, मगर ये नहीं सुनी गई और हम कश्मीर में ही रहे। और इस हालत से हमें आज़ाद कराया गया 2019 में। आज की जो सरकार है मोदी जी के, उस सरकार ने, और उनके हम सदा कृतज्ञ रहेंगे कि आपने लद्दाख को उनका हक दिया, लद्दाख को एक यूनियन टेरिटरी की तरह अलग प्रदेश बनाया। मगर मोदी जी, समस्या ये है कि आपने हमें आसमान से तो बचाया मगर खजूर पे लटकाया। और आज हम ऐसा महसूस करते हैं कि जैसे किसी अपहरणकर्ता के अपहरण से आपने हमें बचा के लाया, मगर फिर हमें बेचने पर लिए रख दिया बड़ी बाजार में। हमें उस अपहरण की स्थिति से निकाल कर लाए जिसके हम इतने कृतज्ञ थे, मगर हम आज खुद को और भी मुश्किल में पा रहे हैं, क्योंकि हम चौराहे पे अपने माँ बेटियों के साथ जैसे बिकने को खड़े हैं। ये जो यहाँ लद्दाख की जनता, जनजातीय जनता है, ये लद्दाख की जो संवेदनशील नाजुक पर्यावरण है, ये बिकने के लिए आज चौराहे पे है कि इस पे कोई भी आके कुछ भी कर सके। यहाँ कोई भी गुट, जो खनन के गुट हैं, औद्योगिक गुट हैं, इंडस्ट्रियल लॉबीज, माइनिंग लॉबीज, आज लद्दाख को ऐसे छोड़ा गया है कि कोई भी यहाँ खिलवाड़ करे। ये सह नहीं सकेगी लद्दाख का पर्यावरण ऐसा औद्योगिक विनाश कहूँगा मैं तो, विकास नहीं। पूरे हिमालय में देख रहे हैं आप, हिमाचल से लेके